Have you ever gone and asked an artist, hey, how did you get so good at art? Or how did you improve? And they just say, just draw every day. If that's you, then great, allow me to educate you. And if not, then here's some random facts. Let's just be real. Drawing every day isn't going to give you the results that you want. That's like saying you want to achieve push-ups and you're just doing crappy push-ups and not incorporating other exercises like planks or tricep dips to work more muscles in that group to get to that desired achievement. You need to actually study the fundamentals and experiment with different exercises, which I didn't do starting out, so you don't have to make that same mistake. To tell someone just to draw every day is pretty vague. Like, yes, you should draw consistently, but depending on what you're trying to improve, you need to actually study that topic. Like, I'm not just going to draw random objects around the house if I want to improve my perspective. I could put those objects in a certain perspective, yes, but that's not really explaining when someone says just draw every day. Now, this video would go on and on if I went into all the fundamentals, so here are some tips that have helped me grow in my art journey. Tip number 1, observe and study from life. When you do this helps you improve your basic knowledge of form and learn how objects work, and it can really give you good real-life examples of lighting and shading, and you can use references online, like Pinterest, but just avoid copying without learning because it leads you absolutely nowhere. Tip number 2, break down complex subjects, meaning simplify forms into basic shapes like cubes, spheres, cylinders. Analyze how things are structured before adding details. Know you want to draw all the abs, muscles, whatever, but you need to know how things work and see the bigger picture before you move on to that. Tip number 3, learn from others. Copying for learning helps internalize basic principles. See how others' techniques and styles work together and, pick from each one, see what you like, and move it around in your own creative way. Just don't copy. Tip number 4, develop a critical eye. Be able to analyze your own work and identify areas for improvement. And if you have the ability to, seek constructive feedback and revise. I had that, and even though the feedback was harsh, it really helped me. So try to do that if you can. On to tip number 5, experiment and take risks. Try new mediums, styles, and techniques. Don't box yourself into one thing. Spread out, explore art. That's the whole point of it. And avoid getting stuck in a comfort zone. Growth only comes when you're uncomfortable. And I'm starting painting. I don't usually paint, and look at me go. You can try a lot of things. You can play around with ceramics, whatever, just don't stay in one spot. Tip number 6, train your patience. And I need to tell this to myself as well. Improvement takes time, and failures are a part of the learning process. You're not going to grow without having any kind of failures. Stay motivated by setting realistic and achievable goals. More than likely, you're not going to just be an amazing artist by the end of this month. It's going to take time, and you have to set goals that can actually be, again, achievable, that you can work towards, and don't set hey, by the end of this month I should need to be able to master anatomy. I mean, it's probably possible, but mastering is kind of crazy. Now, this is one of the most important tips out of all of these. Tip number 7, enjoy the process. Find joy in learning how to express yourself through art. Keep going, and in a few months or years from now, you're going to see growth. You're going to look back, this was what I was drawing. Look how much I've improved. Show off. Although in the moment it's probably like, oh, I'm not learning much, I'm not getting far, but you're just not realizing it. But you gotta keep going. And again, try different things, spice it up. Don't just stick to one boring schedule. Mix things up. Go to an art museum. Take yourself on a mini field trip and learn something. Now, this is a bonus tip. This is just for me and you. This is what I'm using currently to improve my skills for, anatomy and perspective and whatnot. This is what I do. First, I draw from memory to see how much I know, how much I have been able to, memorize and put into my mind, and seeing what I need to work on. After I, step 2, use a reference and just draw a reference from like the picture I'm using, whatever, and like, oh, this is what I need to work on, whatever. And then in step 3, I flip the reference. So I would draw like somebody standing waving their hand, and when I flip it, the hand might be on the other side, and I do that all myself just to see and test my ability to reconstruct from a different side, which really does help, and I recommend you do the same. And those are all the tips that I have for you. And this is like my 3rd year messing around with art, and these things have definitely helped me improve quickly. Although if I implemented these things early on, I know I'd be farther than where I am now. But I learned as I went, and you now have this knowledge that I didn't have back then. And I hope this helps you out. So go open your sketchbook and go crazy for like 15 minutes if you're just starting out, maybe an hour if you're more, into this. And Lord willing, I'll see you in the next one.